Good morning. Learning Tractate Shabbos, chapter 6. The name of the chapter is Isha, and we are holding on page 67. So the Gemara was discussing yesterday and today different kinds of remedies that was told to Abaye by a certain lady. It says for a fever, leishto tilto, for a fever that strikes every 3 days, light yeshiva silva mishiva dikli. One must bring together 7 small branches from 7 date palms, vishiva tzivim mishiva kishua, and 7 splinters from 7 wooden beams, vishiva sikim mishiva gishua, and 7 pegs from 7 bridges, vishiva ketima mishiva tanu, and 7 specimens of ash from 7 ovens, Veshiva Afri, Veshiva Sinre, and 7 specimens of dirt from 7 door sockets. Veshiva Kufru, Veshiva Arba, and 7 specimens of pitch from 7 sheeps. Veshiva Bune Kamune, 7 kernels of cumin. Veshiva Bina Medikno, the Kalbu Savo, and 7 hairs from the beard of an aged dog. And he must tie these items by the neck opening of his shirt with a strand of hair. This will cure him of his recurring illness.
Maybe it's good for Corona.
I think it's going to be very challenging to gather all these items.
I know.
It's 7 bridges, 7 this, 7 that.
Yeah, I know.
So, for a burning fever, one must take a knife that is made completely of iron. And go to a place where there is a thorn bush, and knot upon it a strand of hair. He must return there for 3 days. The first day, he must notch the bush slightly and recite the following pasuk, which speaks of the thorn bush insusceptibility to fire. And an angel of Hashem appeared to him, to Moshe, in a flame of fire from within the thorn bush. And he saw, and behold, the thorn bush was burning in the fire, and the thorn bush was not consumed. The next day he must notch the bush a bit more and recite Vayemer Moshe Asurno Ve'ere. Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see the great sight. Why will the thorn bush not be burnt? Right, the burning bush, which speaks as well as of the bush's insusceptibility to fire. The next day he must notch the bush a bit more and recite Vayara Vayek Yisoliras V'Gemer. And Hashem saw that he turned aside to see. The pasuk turned aside expresses the sufferer's wish that the burning fever be turned away from him as well. Balaam also recited the pasuk, and he said, do not come closer here, thereby express his wish that the sickness approach him no longer. Rather than on the first day, he must first recite Vayero, and an angel of Hashem appeared to him, and then continue with Vayemer Moshe V'Gomer. Moshe said V'Lemocho Lema. And on the next day he must recite Vayero Avayik Yisrael Liros, and Hashem saw that he turned aside to see. V'Limocho, and on the next day he indeed concludes with Vayemer Avay Al Tikrav Aleim, and Hashem said, he said, do not come closer to here. And when the burning fever has stopped afflicting him, Li'isate v'lifseke v'lemahochi. He must bend low and completely sever the bush close to the ground and say, Hasne, Hasne, the thorn bush, Lav mishum, the gevias mikol ilone, Ashrei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shchinte Aloch. It is not because you are loftier than all other trees that the Holy One, blessed is He, rested His divine presence upon you. Ela mishum de moyachs, mikol ilone, Ashrei kuchabichu Shchinte Alech. Because you are the most humble, because you are humbler than all other trees, that Hashem, blessed is He, rested His divine presence upon you. And just as the fire into which they were thrown, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, did not consume them, and then fled from before them, so too shall the fire of burning fever behold so-and-so, the son of the woman, so-and-so himself, and then flee from before him. In simple words, the fever should leave him alone. Fever should go away from him. Through these actions and recitations, one is cured of the illness of burning fever. The Gemara presents several therapeutic incantations, things that you can say, like Moshe Rabbeinu said when Miriam had leprosy. He says, "Kel no refo no lo." That was the whole prayer. Kel, God, please heal her. Refo no lo. Heal Miriam. So we see other incantations, therapeutic incantations. The simtole ma'ochi, for boils, one must mention the angels that heal this illness. Ben Bazio, Masio, Casio, Charloi, Vamroloi. Ben Bazio, Ben Masio, Casio, Charloi, and Amroloi. Ilin Maloche, the Ishtalchu Mar, this Domula, So Shechinu Kivin. These are the angels sent forth from the land of Sodom to heal painful boils. We also mention the name of an angel on the davening of Rosh Chodesh. At the end of the davening, we say, the very end. How does it go? In the Hallel, the end of Hallel. No, the pasuk over there goes.
Kaylee. No. Yeah, after Kaylee. Before Avram.
I said, "Avram zokin bo bayomim."
Right.
Vashem berach Avram bakoil. Avram was elder, was old in his days, and Hashem blessed Avram with everything. And then he says, "Zvadio ishmereini ve'chayeni." Who is Zvadio? Zvadio is the name of an angel. We ask Zvadio to protect us. Ishmereini should guard us. Ve'chayeni to give us life. So Hashem sent different angels to do different things. Over here we see the angels of Sodom. They come to heal painful boils. Bazoch, bazich, bazbozich, masmosich, kamoin, kamich. So also name of an angels. Einayich beich, Einayich beich. He addresses the boils. May your color remain as you are. May your color remain as you are. Do not become any more red and inflamed. Asrech beich. May your place remain where you are. Do not spread any further. Zar'ich kekolut uchefirdo deloi poro. May your seed be like that of kalut and like that of a mule who do not increase and do not multiply. So too may the boils neither increase nor multiply upon the body of so and so, the son of so and so. Obviously mentioning the name of the mother. Second therapeutic incantations. Lechipo lema hochi. For blisters, one must say cherev shlufo vekela netusho, unsheathed sword and a slingshot placed in readiness. Lo yishmei yoichav chulin machoivin. Its name is not yochav, painful illness or illnesses. This incantation will heal the blisters. Leshido lema hochi, to banish a demon, one must say this: Havis defokik havis. You were stopped up. You were. Leita tovu mishumas baltit baltom baltinak shemagaz merigaz vistamai. You shall be cursed, broken, and excommunicated. You are called baltit, baltomi, baltina, as are shamgaz, merigaz, and listamoi. Another incantation, that's the fifth incantation. Leshido de veskisa lema ochi, to banish a demon of the privy, or the bathroom, that is causing harm, one must say, Akar kefei de'ari, within the nostril of a lioness. Ashkachto leshidoy bar shariko pando, shall be found the demon bar shariko pando. B'mishol decharte chavte, upon a field, field of leek, I felled them. Below the chamo chatarte, with the jawbone of a donkey, I smote him. Uvnei melochim bazogin, the Mishnah state. Now we're going back to the Mishnah. Uvnei melochim bazogin, and princesses may go out on the Shabbos with bells. And this is actually true of any person. My mantono, who is the Tana of a Mishnah who permits commoners to go out with bells? Since bells are worn exclusively by nobles, the sight of a commoner adorned with them is likely to elicit derisive comment on the part of bystanders, leading one who wears them to remove them and transport them on the Shabbos. Moreover, since bells are a novelty for a commoner, he will certainly remove them to show them to his friends. How then can the Mishnah permit a commoner to wear bells? So Amar Rabbi Yoshaya Rabbi Shimoni. Rabbi Yoshaya said, the Tana of our Mishnah is Rabbi Shimon. The Omar Kol Yisrael b'nei Melochim, was stated in the Mishnah, all Jews are like princes. Since it is natural for them to don princely adornments, derisive comments will not faze them, nor will the novelty of the adornments unduly excite them. They're used to it. Therefore, since they will not remove the bells, they are permitted to wear them outside on the Shabbos. Rava Omar B'orig B'chsusoi, speaking in a case of bells woven into one's garment, V'diva Akol, and it accords with the opinions of all parties, both the opinion of Rabbi Shimon and with that of his disputants, the sages. For although the sages hold that Jews are not considered princes, they agree that one may wear bells if they are woven into one's garment. For since they are securely fastened to the garment, one will not be led to remove them. New Mishnah. The Mishnah discusses the permissibility of going out on the Shabbos with articles of talismanic healing. Yoitzim v'veitzas achagol. One may go out on the Shabbos with locust's egg, uv'shen shul, with a fox tooth, uv'masmel minatzol, or with a nail from the gallows of one who was hanged, mishum refuah, for the purpose of healing. Div Rabbi Meir, these are the words of Rabbi Meir. Chacham oisanaf b'chol, the sages prohibit use of these items even during the week. Why? Mishum darkei Meiri, because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. Yoitzim v'veitzas achagol, one may go out on the Shabbos with a locust egg hung from one's ear, because it is used for ear ache. Uv'shen shel shus of the lishinto, or with fox tooth, because it is used for sleep disorders. Okay, it is a solution. Get a fox tooth, and put it under your pillow, and you'll be able to sleep.
Keep going.
The chayol lemandenoim, the tooth of live fox, is used by one who is overly drowsy to keep awake. The miso lemandelonoim, whereas that of a dead fox is used by insomniac.
That's when
He can't fall asleep, to enable him to sleep. So the living one is for someone that can't wake up, and the tooth from the dead fox is when you can't fall asleep. With a nail from the gallows of one who was hanged. The of the Zirpo, one may go out with this nail on the Shabbos because it is used to heal the swelling of a wound. Mishum refuah, one may go out on the Shabbos with a locust egg, fox tooth, and a nail from a gallows for the purpose of healing. Div Rabbi Meir, these are the words of Rabbi Meir. The sages forbid use of these items even during the week, because the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. Even during the week shouldn't go out.
So that means that's even worse than Shabbos.
Obviously, Abai v'Rava the Omer Tav called Abai v'Rava the Omer Tavayu. Abai and Rava both said called Dovash b'Mishum Refuah Mishum Darkei Amor. Abai and Rava said anything that is therapeutic has healing.
Any practice that is of evident therapeutic value.
Anything that has healing properties is not Darkei Amor, is not considered the ways of the Amorites. That's the opinion of Abai v'Rava. Ein b'Mishum Refuah yesh b'Mishum Darkei Amor. But if there is no, if there's no therapeutic value,
It's not evident.
there's no therapeutic value, then it is Darkei Amor. It is the ways of the Amorites.
If it doesn't prove that it works, then it is from the Amorites.
Right. What about the tree? One who possesses an overly vital tree that sheds its fruit early. Okay? He dyes it with red pigment. And burdens its branches with rocks, both Amorite practices. Now it is understandable that he should burden the tree's branches with rocks, since he does this so that its vitality will be sapped and its fruit will not ripen early. But that he dyes it with red pigment, what healing has he performed with this action? None. Nonetheless, this act is permitted. We see that one is permitted to perform even an Amorite practice of no evident therapeutic value, even if there is no evident therapeutic value. The tree is dyed for the purpose of drawing the attention of the public. So people will see his misfortune and pray that he be shown mercy. The tree should be shown mercy. Shouldn't shed his fruits too early. Kedetanya. It says, Metzero has to call out that he's Tomei. There's Tomei twice. One must inform the public of his misfortune, so that the public will beg for mercy upon him. Likewise here, the function of the red dye is not to heal, but to attract attention to one's plight, so that others will pray that the health of the tree be restored. According to whose teaching do we know to hang a bunch of dates upon a date palm that is shedding its fruit early? According to this, to the teaching of this Tana, who teaches in that Brisa, one afflicted by misfortune is required to tell others of it, so that they will pray for mercy. We likewise hang dates upon an unhealthy palm to alert others that their prayers are needed. The Gemara now commences a section in which it will quote a lengthy brisa detailing a number of acts that are prohibited because they are practiced by the Amorites. Tony Tano in a teacher of brises once taught several laws from the chapter of Amorite practices before Rabbi Chia bar Avin. Omar le Rabbi Chia said to him, Kulu isbu mishum dar kemur levar mehane. When you teach that chapter of brises, do not say that any of the practices enumerated there are permissible. Rather, be sure to teach that all of the practices enumerated there are prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorite, except for these two that I will set forth for you. Rabbi Chia bar Huna will now appraise the teacher of brises, the two practices that are indeed permitted, and will then continue with selection from the brisa of those practices that are prohibited. One who has a bone stuck in his throat, maybe brings another bone of that sort, puts it upon the top of his skull, and says thus, Chad nochis bola. One by one, go down and be swallowed. Bola nochis chad, be swallowed and go down one by one. This practice is not prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. For a fish bone. What was that? The other bone?
It was the same kind of bone that
it just doesn't say what type of a bone.
Right, exactly.
Bone stock. The second one is a fish bone.
Yeah.
Because it could be a bone from meat, it could be a bone from chicken.
Right, exactly.
It could be a carrot that is stuck in his...
Well, the carrot's different.
For a fish bone stuck in one's throat, one must say thus, Nin atzto kemachat, you are embedded like a needle. Nin alto kisris, you are locked tightly as a shutter. Shoyo, go down. This practice too is not prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. Oimer gad gedi v'sono kulashku vushchi. B'chia bar Huna now continues with those Amorite practices that are prohibited. Practice listed here are only some of those enumerated in the chapter of Amorite practices. Oimer gad gedi. One says, my consolation, gadi, show me good fortune. It says God is an astrological sign. Believers in astrology held that one's fortune is dependent upon one's sign, and thus incant so that his sign will favor him. So he says Gad Gedi. We say in the Shema, before going to sleep, we say Gad Gdudya Gudunu. It's a sound similar, but it's obviously different. Gad Gedi, Gadi, show me good fortune. Vesonu klashku vushche, and may it not be wearied, neither by day nor by night. Yesh b'mishum darkei Amori. This incantation is prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. God enoi eloloshan avedaso. God is none other than a term of idol worship. Shenemar, because it says, Oichim lagad shulchan, those who set table for God. This incantation is not merely an Amorite practice, it is a violation of the prohibition to call in the name of an idol. Hu bishmo bishmei, he, a husband, is called by night with her, his wife's name, and she is called with the name for the purpose of divination. See, if at nighttime your wife calls you by her name and you call her by your name, you swap names.
Yeah.
He hu bishmo vehi bishmoy. A husband is called by night with his wife's name, and she is called with his name for the purpose of divination. I guess a type of idolatry. Yesh b'mishum darkei Amori. This practice is prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. Dunu donai. May my barrels of wine be strengthened. Donu. This is also an incantation that is prohibited. Yesh b'mishum darkei Amori. This incantation is prohibited because of the prohibition against the ways of the Amorites. Ein don eloloshen avodah. Dan is none other than a term of idol worship. Shenemar, anishboim b'ashma shomrun ve'omru chei elikecho don. Those who swear by the iniquity of Samaria or say by the life of your God, Dan. This incantation is not merely one of the Amorite ways. It is a violation of the prohibition to call out in the name of an idol. If one says to a raven, croak, or to a female raven, shirik, and turn your tail to me for my good fortune. This incantation is prohibited because of the prohibition against following in the ways of the Amorites. If one says, slaughter this rooster that croaked like a raven, or this hen that crowed like a rooster. This practice is prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites. I will drink and live over, I'll drink and live over the hope that his wine will thus be infused with blessing, so that only a small measure of it will slake one's thirst. Yesh b'mishum darkei Amori. This is cause the prohibition against following is prohibited because of following the ways of the Amorites. If one breaks eggshells upon a wall before fledglings, baby chicks, so that they will not die. It's also the practice of the Amorites. One steers before the chicks, fledglings, so that they will not die. I guess it's prohibited because following the ways of the Amorites. If one dances before the chicks, if one counts 71 chicks so that they will not die, this practice are prohibited because of the ways of them. A woman dances before kutach with some kind of sauce. Deep, made of breadcrumbs and whey. So what is she doing? A woman dances before this dip. A woman silences bystanders while placing lentils into a pot so that they will cook thoroughly. A woman who shouts before a pot of beans so that they will cook thoroughly. Again, it's prohibited because it's following the ways of the Amorites. If a woman urinates before her cook pot, so the food will cook quickly. Again, it's following the ways of the Amorites. However, one may place a splinter of mulberry wood, or glass fragments into a cook pot so that the food will cook quickly. Since this is not a superstition, but an actual method of speeding up cooking time. Guess putting a splinter of mulberry expedites the cooking. However, the sages forbid the use of glass fragments in the cook pot because of the danger. God forbid somebody swallows it. One may place a fistful of salt into a lamp so that it will burn more brightly. Since this is not a magical practice but an actual method of gaining more light. One may place mud or clay beneath a lamp so that it will burn more slowly. Since this is not magical practice, having mentioned this brisa, the Gemara teaches a law regarding a similar practice. A person who needlessly covers an oil lamp, or needlessly uncovers naphtha lamp, thereby causing them to burn more quickly, has transgressed the command not to destroy useful possessions, since he caused fuel to be wasted. Wine and life to the mouth of the rabbis. This practice, I guess somebody says l'chaim. This practice is not prohibited because of the prohibition against following the ways of the Amorites, since it is merely meant a blessing. An incident took place with Rabbi Akiva in which he prepared a feast for his son. And over each cup that he brought out, he proclaimed the following: the wine and life to the mouth of the rabbis, life and wine to the mouth of the rabbis, to the mouth of the students. Rabbi Akiva uttered this toast. It obviously is not prohibited as an Amorite practice. Adon Allah v'me'isha, we shall return to you b'mei ha'isha. I will continue, God willing, tomorrow with chapter 7.
Okay.